Meeting to order, please. From my right, roll call. William Nickel.
Matt Rose.
Bernie Gallo. Billy Mills.
Bruce Lees.
Mike Esposito.
We have a quorum, 7:02. Everyone please rise, face the flag. Commissioner Rose will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is regular activity 943, which is a continuance of the public hearing. Heatherwood Acres. Who would like to? Dennis?
You want this down there?
Yeah, I would say probably better that, or they can touch it as well. All right, for the record, Dinas Verbicus Artel Engineering Group, an office in Brookfield, Connecticut, here on behalf of the applicant for the proposed cluster development named Heatherwood Acres. At the last meeting, we received a report from Dr. Danzer and left with a pretty tall order of items to address. And among them, we were asked to provide cut and fill numbers, which is a carryover from a prior meeting. Asked to provide impervious coverage on the site, numbers for that. Provide more erosion controls, provide a maintenance schedule, provide stencil detail for the catch basins. We were asked to look to eliminate some units, reduce impervious cover, design the storm drainage beyond the standard 25-year storm that's required by others, and provide a general construction sequence, amongst other things. And to that end, we've been working pretty hard to satisfy all those requests. And I think, if I may, and I apologize for not having brought it in earlier, but I'll pass out some drawings if the commission wants to follow along on the table, or they can follow along on the board. And we're asked to submit 3 copies of the report.
Thank you.
Here, I'll pass one in the middle. I guess maybe one for staff. So, being very busy trying to address the comments, I'll go over in general, and then I can get into the specifics if you like. Perhaps we'll start off with reducing the impervious coverage, and what we've done to accomplish that is a pretty large change in that, I don't know if the commission recalls or not, but on the prior map, we had what we called an eyebrow road that rose up in here, and I've got a copy of it just beneath to refresh your memory. But that eyebrow road rose up, and it gave a little bit of an interesting feature to the site, and when the units were a different size, it allowed us to work the units in a little better. But that eyebrow road was about 250 feet long, substantial amount of impervious coverage, and we found that we were able to eliminate it, and in eliminating it, we were able to increase our buffer to the west property line. When the eyebrow was in place, we were grading almost to the property line, and now we've got a substantial buffer, about 100 feet, before we start our cutting and site work associated with the building. So that's a pretty good savings on impervious cover. Also, by eliminating that eyebrow, we were able to tighten up the cluster on these units, and in doing so, we were also able to pull this first unit as you come in, or the southwesternmost unit. We were able to push that to the north, and moving it from what was once 30 feet from the property line to now greater than 70 feet away. So we're providing a buffer to our neighbor to the south, and we're able to have less impact to that wetland. It's located right in the southwest corner. Similarly, by pulling that eyebrow down, we now are not impacting this little piece of wetland that's located. I don't know if you can see it. I brought a highlighter if you want me to highlight them.
I've seen it, so.
Let me know.
Which little wetland, Joan?
It's a little wetland in here. It's not show up either. But it's the C series wetland, which is saved. So we eliminated a substantial amount of impervious cover there. Also, it was asked of us to look to shorten the length of the road to give a bit more of a buffer to the wetlands at the extreme north end. And we shortened the road by about 70 feet, 60 to 70 feet. And what that allowed us to do, or what it resulted in, is a buffer of almost 90 feet from the nearest point on these units to the wetland to the north. Where on the previous plan, we were just shy of 40 feet. So we've increased the buffer there. So pretty good steps. We were asked to reduce the amount of units on the site, and by shortening the road, and when we shortened it, we also gave the cul-de-sac end a little twist, a dog leg they call it. So what that enabled us to do is reduce the grading around the end of the cul-de-sac, or limit the grading to the lower side. But by reducing the length of the road, we ended up losing 2 units. So what was once a 44 unit application, now we're down to 42 units. And it took a bit of convincing, but our client was amenable to that, and that there was a little bit of savings and reduction of infrastructure. And in doing these changes, we reduced the cuts and fills on the site substantially. We didn't have fully developed preliminary numbers, but the numbers that we have now, on the cut and fill side of things, and that was part of one of the letters that was submitted with that packet. The site, as we've analyzed it, will probably require about 15,325 cubic yards of material to be imported into it. And that's basically due to a cut that we've analyzed and calculated to be about 46,435 cubic yards, and a fill requirement of about 61,670 cubic yards. And those numbers are substantially less than what I had heard quoted from people in the audience several weeks back. The impervious cover, now that we're at a point where I think the site is very well organized and compact. Impervious cover is about 3.44 acres being proposed. 3.44 acres proposed. And surprisingly, or it was a surprise to me, is that the existing impervious coverage is over an acre, including the road, the foundations, and everything that's on the site. So for the amount of development that we're proposing, the increase in impervious is not that tremendous. We were asked, again, to design the drainage system to something of a higher standard. The city of Danbury requires that we design to a 25-year storm. And what we did is we reorganized the entire drainage system on the site. And as a result, in deepening these proposed detention basins, we're now able to control flows and have reductions in the rates of runoff for not only the 25-year storm, but the 50 and 100-year storms. So we've gone above and beyond what would normally be expected.
50 and 100,
Correct.
thanks.
Part of what we handed in also is a general construction sequence for all to review. This document, and also what we did is we took out, there was a request made for a maintenance schedule to be provided. It was actually included in our thick engineering report, and maybe we should have a table of contents that directs people to it. But what we did is we took the excerpt right out and provided it so it's easily read and viewed. Let's see, what else? We added additional erosion controls. Back to our erosion control plan. Excuse me. So as part of our construction sequence, we looked to add in additional erosion controls where we thought they might be beneficial to the site. And again, we've added them along the toe of the proposed cut, along the edge of the road. We've also proposed them along the toe of the fill, and then similarly again further down. So we've tried to divide the property up into smaller segments so that if there is any sort of sediment travel, it's not a far distance. We've also added notes to the drawing stating that these aren't the only erosion controls that are required that should be used if the contractor finds that additional controls are needed, or if someone from the city or the engineer in charge or the city's agent says we need more, they're obligated to put more on. We've also specified the use of polymers or coagulants for the soils, and these are non-toxic chemicals that are applied to surfaces of soils and actually bond the silt particles and make them into bigger clumps and make them less apt to travel. So it's kind of a neat thing. I use it in the pool to clear it out. So in addition to doing the erosion controls, we also added some level spreaders at our discharge points, and the discharge points that are discharging directly on through the site would be the flows that are associated with the properties up above. At the last meeting, someone came up with photos and showed basically what 50 acres worth of drainage draining onto a property looks like during a rain event. That's what we're doing, is we're piping these down through, and rather than letting them carve through the site, we're proposing level spreaders at the end. Actually, even though the maps are on a small scale, we're trying to spread the flow by 60 feet to get a more even flow out into the wetlands. And we've got that proposed at the southern end, in the midsection, as well as at the north end as well. And again, by making these changes, we're able to increase buffers to the neighbors, increase buffers to the wetlands, and also lessen our impact, our direct impact to the wetlands by no longer impacting the wetlands at the extreme north and south ends of the site.
Dennis, do you have an overall map in there that shows the open space? I just want to clarify something for the board.
Yes, I do. That's a good point. Council has asked that I show a map that indicates our proposed
Okay.
dedication.
Yeah, for the record, Peter Scalzo on Crackers Log 2, Stony Hill Road in Bethel. There's been discussion, as you know, of a desire or a willingness of the applicant to do something with all this. It's roughly 54 acres, correct, Dennis? And so I've had ongoing discussions with Corporation Counsel about the instrument, the way to do that. Usually when an applicant is willing to do that sort of a transfer, I ask the municipality what they prefer, whether it's a conservation restriction where title remains in the applicant's name, but there's just a conservation restriction placed over this entire area, where it's left in its natural state, or an out-and-out transfer of land to the municipality. And I just want to go on record to say that the applicant's willing to do whatever the city would like, but it's the intention of the applicant, to transfer this property over to the city or to restrict it in its natural state. If we do transfer the property to the city, there will be some exceptions we need for, like drainage easements and things like that. Normal things. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you. And once again, I think, given the toll order that we had, I think we've hit on all the points that were requested of us. Happy with our proposal, and I hope the commission finds it worthy of being approved. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Questions, anyone?
Yes. Back to the drawing of the level spreader, Dennis, you had around two houses, you had like an oval. Just curious what it was. If you go back to where the level spreaders were, back a couple of sheets.
Yeah. We really can cheat and see the title block on the wrong side.
Yeah, see those circular
eyeballs?
like eggs? Yes. What are those?
Those are actually soil stockpile areas. What we propose is an area where it's relatively centrally located on the site. We anticipate that we'd have trucks either hauling from our excavations down below or moving soil to some other place where it's out of the way and can be used for the.
That's the only question I had. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else? Further questions by anyone? All right. Hold on, the public first. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this?
Can I sit or stand or?
Ready to stand.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Thomas Pura, 43 Eastgate Road, Danbury, Connecticut. Do I have to sign in?
You still, yeah, Diane, you do too, there's a sign in over there.
I'll go on record against the approval of this project. I'm going to read from my notes. Hope you'll excuse me for doing that, but the following are my serious concerns about this new proposal the EIC should consider asking the developer. According to their own map, Arterial Engineering Group, Sheet 4, wetlands, soil type map, there are 18 watercourse areas, 10 wetland areas on this property. And they're going back and forth, this has been discussed many times. What will the effect be on these when the property is clear cut and the foundations are in place? Now, they're doing slab building here, they're not cutting and doing foundations. And as previous buildings on that, as you saw if you walked the property, the foundations were level with the terrific slopes that come down there. They're gonna have to put slab, they're gonna have to really do some cutting into, especially on both sides, the up and lower portions of that property. And how will those clear cutting affect those 18 water courses and 10 wetland areas? I'm gonna address the Dr. Dan's report, who they touched on, but seriously, there's a lot more, if you've read this before, that Dr. Danzer has pointed out. And if you go back to the 2007 report and cross-reference, as he points out very nicely in his report, there's a lot of holes in the proposal that you just heard. A few meetings ago, I believe Mr. Salad asked the developer how they plan to channel the water flowing from the 10 storm drains coming off Eastgate Road down through the property. These are 12-inch pipes directly onto the property where the units 1 through 22 are proposed on the upside. If you look at their engineering sheet 4, which shows, and I quote, approximate location of possible drainage structure, 5 of them, and outlet pipe to be removed, unquote, contractor to field verified. Wonder what that means. That's the water coming off Eastgate Road. There's 5 pipes, there's 10 storm drains. It's gonna be 5 on the upside, which is on the Clapboard Ridge side. They drain onto the lower side on the downside, and those 5 drains go through a 12-inch pipe. And, no, it's not the map, but you can see them on this engineering map. So if they're gonna remove those, what happens to the water coming off Eastgate Road? Just back up onto the property where those drainage pipes originate. And a lot of the testimony that you heard previously, these pipes do run between properties on Eastgate Road. Or does it back up into the drainage? And I don't know if they've ever answered that question, but it's one that you should pursue. Here are 6 pictures that I took on Eastgate Road after a snowstorm. This was probably a couple months ago, but the ice buildup on Eastgate Road is dramatic, and I'll hand them to Mr. Gallo. The significance of this, and this buildup on water as it flows down from Clapboard Ridge on Eastgate, is treated a lot by the Danbury Public Works Department because it's a school road. And there's tons of cars and buses and whatever. You can see the buildup in the salt here. And of course, this all runs down into those drainages that I mentioned, go through the 12-inch pipes down onto this property. There's it going into the drain. The developer proposed to capture the Eastgate runoff that you see here. How would they get rid of all the salt and crud before dumping it into the Paynerum Brook and the wetlands below it? Or in matter of fact, any of the wet lies, water courses of that property. In addition to the winter salt and silt, spring, summer, and fall fertilizers, which are used by everybody on Clapboard Ridge and Eastgate Road, which contain phosphates, oil and gas spills, are washed onto this property, again, from Clapboard Ridge, Eastgate, to the drains. City of Danbury is already being required by the Connecticut Department of DEP to reduce the amount of phosphates being dumped into the Still River from the city sewage plant. How will the developer assure no phosphates getting into the Paynerum Brook, which flows into the Still River and the wetlands area below the development? This proposal has 4 retaining walls. We haven't talked about it, we don't remember talking about retaining walls. One of them, number 2, runs behind 6 homes above Eastgate Road. I heard the amount of land that's going to be removed in the cutting to put these foundations in. And they, excuse me, when this very steep terrain is clear cut of trees, all the dirt removed, and this retaining wall will be able to hold back the soil and water runoff. This is something you have to really take a look at, because there's going to be a tremendous amount of soil removed, and these retaining walls are going to be asked to basically hold up the backyards of 6 houses on Eastgate Road. It's a little outdated. This is from I think it's the newspaper here in Connecticut. It's dated October 26, 2005, and it's about a retaining wall that collapsed.
What's the publication?
Publication is the day publishing, I don't know, I think it's New London or Montville. Anyway, it was in Montville. I'll give you this copy back.
Okay.
The headline, residents wonder who's to blame for disaster at Montville Commons in Montville, Connecticut. Was mudslide an act of God or a case of negligence by the developers? That's the subtitle. I'll give you this, you can read it, but it's interesting. The CEO of the development company, here's his quote. His quote, "It's a disaster, and they understand that," he said. "I would not want that in my backyard." But there was no design failure. Every engineer that has looked at this has agreed that nothing was wrong in the construction, and it was a typical design. So we're going to hear from the developer that those retaining walls are perfect. There's a proof that even the best of the best. So a question for you folks is take a look at the retaining walls and see if they can, hold back the massive amounts of water that are coming off of Eastgate and the amount that the retaining wall is going to be asked to hold back. And this is my wrap up on it. How can the EAC and the city of Danbury be certain the Cotswold retaining walls will be able to hold back the steep terrain on both the upper and lower sides of this project once it is clear cut of trees, the soil is removed? And who's going to be liable in the case of failure like the one in the Montville? Blasting. You haven't mentioned blasting. I don't know if there will be any, but you ought to ask them that. And if yes, what steps will Cotswold implement to ensure that There's no damage to the existing foundations on Eastgate Road and also down on Peyton Avenue. A few years ago, BRT Development was allowed to clear cut and blast on Clapboard Ridge. We all know what that development is. It's directly above 6 homes on Eastgate Road. Since then, much more water comes off the steep terrain onto these properties. 2 property owners had their driveways washed out. That was mentioned a few years back as a result of the new development. I'm sure the developer assured everyone involved, the project approved process, that this would not happen, but it did. How can the ESC be certain it will not happen with the Cotswold proposal? It sure appears to be the same clear cutting, side cutting into a very steep terrain, and then trying to capture all that excess water runoff. By the way, all that water now, it's down at Eastgate Road, goes into those storm drains, goes down on our property. The Danza report, right on the summary page, first page, currently proposed units 4, 12, 19, 22, 30, 31, 32 should be eliminated from the site plan or relocated as a protected regulated resource. They're in wetlands. What I heard is they're doing away with 2 of them. What happened to the other 5? And compressing those houses, you're just pushing them closer together and into, obviously, some of these wetlands that they're meant to. You really have to understand what they just did here. And again, maybe they can explain that to you, but that's a question. Length of the proposed road and the overall extended development is larger. Okay, they addressed that, but, excuse me, they did address that one. I was gonna bring that up, but they addressed that one. Of the 19 wetland watercourse areas identified within proximity to the primary development envelope for the sub, 18 will be significantly impacted through partial or full elimination or alteration. I mean, and you can read all of this stuff. I'm just highlighting questions that I'm looking at this as a novice. Detailed function and values information specific to each water course and wetland area proposed to be impacted is lacking from the application materials. Maybe what you just got today addresses it. I would hope they do that. More detailed information value the applicant to demonstrate area by area that the proposed mitigation is adequate to compensate for the lost functions and value. As of now, it is my opinion that the applicant cannot meet this burden with their own documents. This goes on and on this, and if you haven't read it, it's quite revealing that, you know, they want to build 44, they come back with now 42. Dr. Danza says the minimum should be 7, and there's basically a lot of stuff that they haven't covered. So all I ask you is look under the new proposal. The key is the water continues to run on that property. If you went on that property today, as I did, you would drown, because we had an inch or so of rain yesterday. You walked it a couple of months ago. Walk it on a wet day, and it is amazing. If they can be sure that they can control all of that water with what they're going to do to the property, clear cutting and taking the trees down, I don't know. I'd be amazed. And I ask you to seriously consider not approving this proposal the way they've designed it. Thank you for your time.
Anyone else wishing to speak from the public? Mr. Gucker.
Sorry I'm late. My girlfriend's birthday, we had to go get wings and some beer. Ken Gucker, 89 Peyton Road.
Before you go on, have you seen the new proposal?
No.
So you know.
I'm just gonna talk on what they spoke on last time.
Okay.
Last time I brought up was the water runoff and the way they're gonna channel the water downstream. The biggest thing that they spoke about was the importance of the stream bed below. So beyond what they're doing above, what I see as far as their proposal doesn't change anything that affects below. They're still not absorbing water, they're still not controlling the water. You know, their retention pond situation that they have is more about water clarification, like purifying the water, but not of water retention. It is not doing it to minimize the amount of water that is downstream. It's more about just cleaning the water that's going on downstream. As you saw today, the pictures I gave you at the last meeting, the water was within 6 to 12 inches of the banks. Today, they were at the banks. The amount of water that is coming off of that hill is flooding the base before you even get into this project where there's more impervious surfaces, and more channelization of the water going down. Dr. Dander's report and other reports have said that the thing that we need to concern about is the stream and the amount of water it can take. At this point, the project is not taking care of that situation. The other thing that was brought up at the last meeting was the idea that, well, we need to remove the old foundations, so we're gonna destroy these wetland areas anyway. So why not let us do what we're gonna do? If we're gonna clean up the area and get rid of the old foundations, and we're gonna clean this property back to what it used to be, we're gonna destroy everything, so let us build what we're gonna build. The bottom line, it still doesn't take care of the amount of impact at the stream. So a lot of the argument that's going on isn't so much about the development that's happening up there. How does it impact downstream? How does this flow down? Where does it go from here? Where it affects the Covered Bridge condominiums, where it affects downtown Danbury, where it affects the watershed area. They're not addressing that problem. If they had a plan of mitigation to say, we are going to control the water, we are going to deal with the absorption, we're going to deal with the amount of water that comes off of this, as opposed to adding to the impact that they're doing, that would be a different situation. They're not doing that. This whole project is basically taking a sow zero and turning it into a silk purse. It's just not going anywhere. The amount of disruption that's going to happen is not being addressed. You know, where you're taking water from up on top, bringing it to the bottom, what are they doing with it? It's just dumping. Everything is catch, dump, catch, dump. Both their soil scientists, their environmentalists, Dr. Danzers, everybody has said that the thing that we need to be concerned about and the most important part of this property is the Paden Aaron Brook area. They're not dealing with that. The amount of impact they're going to have is significant. Those are the issues that need to be addressed. As far as cutting out the additional houses, that's wonderful. But you know what? Doesn't address the problem. Dr. Danzer's report where he says, well, we should give consideration to the fact they're going to donate all this land. They've talked about this in the past. The last two proposals have talked about saying, well, the first time we're going to give a walking path. They even had a representative from the open space. Well, they're going to give us a walking path across the river. Well, that's fantastic. But how does their project impact the bottom? They haven't said that. Later on, the last proposal, they broke the project in half. They said, well, we're going to have a southern portion and a northern portion. We won't talk about the northern portion, but they also hinted to the idea that maybe we'll donate it, we don't know. Why did they say that? Because they already know that the environmental impact and the amount of work and construction it would take was very damaging. The 20-foot retaining walls, if you remember that. The crossover below the reservoir that was going to happen. The impact was severe. So it's in their best interest to say, yes, we will donate the bad sections, we will donate the stuff that we really can't develop anyway. We'll donate that. They've been talking about this donation process, so in the Dancer report where it says we should consider these donations as part of the project, in one half, yes, but in the other half, no, because they've been talking about that since 2005. It's the same project. Bottom line. How does this affect the brook? It affects it a lot. Today, with no development, it's at flood stages. It's going to get worse. They have no retention going on, just cleaning up the water, where it comes off of the street with the vortex units, with the retention ponds for cleaning with a 25-year storm, which, living in that area, we have a 25-year storm. Even then. We've had those every year. The flooding that happens down there is unbelievable. Anyway, I urge you to reject this. I want to say congratulations to Bruce on his nomination in the newspaper.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you for your time.
Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Dave, would you like to say a few words?
Staff, we recommend that we close the public hearing at this time, and we'll analyze the new material and give advice to the commission during the decision-making process.
Mr. Weeks?
Would you say the application is complete at this time?
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Make a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to close the public hearing. Any remarks? All those-
Who made the motion, please? Bruce?
Please? Yeah.
Bill second. All those in favor, vote your usual way.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Second that?
No.
Now need a motion to table until our next meeting on April 10th.
Mr. Chairman, just one input to the chair. And again, in regards to the people coming to talk, I mean, I know the applicants stay around after the meeting. I don't know if you guys have been addressing them with these issues and these problems. Has there been any discussion between the two? I mean, we can only do so much here. I know you brought up some good issues. We're gonna look into them, but in those cases, with these larger developments, sometimes the public actually communicates with the applicant to work out things. I mean, things have to go forward, things stay back, you know what I mean? You're the neighbors in the neighborhood, they're coming to be new neighbors. I mean, you had some good points and good questions, but I mean, have you ever directed them to talk to the applicant himself?
The public hearing is closed. No, we're not recognizing.
I'll make a motion that we table regulated activity 943 until our next regularly scheduled meeting on April 10th.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to table regulated activity 943 until our next regular meeting, April 10th, 2013. All those in favor, vote your usual way.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
My favorite.
Yeah.
You didn't invite me to have wings, though.
Are we all set? Next item on the agenda, regulated activity 944 39 North Abbey Road. Michael Henry. I think the way this thing is going, we're running out of time before our next meeting. Both property's been posted. Several sidewalks have been canceled. I think at this time we should, my opinion, make a motion to deny as incomplete.
I'll make a motion that we deny regulated activity 944 as incomplete.
Second.
Motion made, seconded to deny regulated activity 944 as incomplete. Any remarks?
Second, Bruce?
Yes.
Thank you.
Have it all, Pat? All those in favor of the motion, vote your usual way.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is regulated activity 498R, 91 Miley Brook Road. We
David Sacco.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Am I step up or say anything?
As you're aware, we had,
Who are you?
I'm David Sacco, TPA Design Division, Community of Connecticut, the project engineer. As you know, we had to postpone the site visit yesterday because of the inclement weather. We are open to, rescheduling at your convenience and just waiting for.
That's what we're gonna do. We will reschedule it. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yes, I'm sorry to recognize you. I usually know the guys from the other organizations that come.
So you're talking about what address?
91 Myrie Brook Road.
Thank you very much.
Worcester Woods project.
Yes,
Mr. Chairman, I just, can we poll the audience? Is there anybody here for that application? Not to speak, but anybody has any interest in the Worcester school application? Because I know we had the question of having a public hearing for it.
I,
Are you?
I don't see the need for it, but I'll do whatever you want to do.
Oh, no, as I'm saying, I'm just saying there's no interest. Again, I have no objections.
Planning is going to have the public hearing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, so I have no objection. I did bring up objections before, seeing more for the issue of public interest, and that's why I was just polling the audience to see if anybody would hear for that. Seeing none, I mean, I have no problem with not having a public hearing.
Whoever wasn't here before when this was brought up, these are set way back beyond the 100-foot line mark. The only thing we're gonna do is be addressing the bridge that leads to it, okay? And we're gonna do an onsite on that.
Sure.
So at this time, I'd entertain a motion to table.
Just through the chair, Dan Baruti from the Health Department, just to add on the public interest, note that there was an article on the front page of the Danbury News Times last week talking about it. So there is some public interest. Just throw that out there.
I'll entertain a motion to table.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to table regular activity number 498R to our next regular scheduled meeting on April 10th, 12th?
10th.
April 10th, 2013.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to table regulated activity 948 until 410. Regulated activity 498R until 410/2013. All those in favor, vote your usual way.
Who seconded?
Opposed?
Thanks.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Louise Esposito.
Be in touch about rescheduling that.
Come.
Next item on the agenda is 138 Deer Hill Avenue. Regulated activity 948. We've been asked to table this.
I'll make a motion to table regulated activity 948 until our next regularly scheduled meeting, which is April 10th.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to table regulated activity 948 until 410/13. All those in favor, vote your usual way.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is 26 and 30 Paydam Road, regulated activity 190R, Elmer Palmer.
What was yesterday? Was that a 25 or? Yesterday was 25.
Good evening, Mark Courthouse, Artel Engineering Group, for the applicant, Elmer Palmer. He is also with me tonight. Should you have any questions for him? I don't know if you're familiar with this property, probably most of you are. The property is located at 26 and 30 Paydam Road. It's been restaurants formerly in the past. Most recently was a Japanese restaurant. Before that, Ernie's Roadhouse and a Cracker Barrel. It's located across the street from Hammersmith, and Elmer's Diner is currently right here on the south side of the site. Basically, what's happened is Mr. Palmer's purchased this property and wants to reestablish the restaurant use at this site. In doing so, this is the existing conditions. You can see here, you can see there's Paydam Brook and the wetlands on the site, basically the water course of Paydam Brook. What Mr. Palmer proposes to do is to make some improvements to the site. Wants to add a small addition.
Yeah, I'll just go out, John.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
small improvements to the site?
Yeah, once you construct a small addition, it's about 418 square feet to the southwest corner, inside corner. And also make some improvements to the site, basically stuff that's actually required. Sidewalks, curb cuts, we're redoing the curb cuts and sidewalks for safety purposes. One of the things we're doing here on this side of the site, we're moving the handicap spaces. They were right up close to the right of way. I mean, you pull in the driveway, they're right there, so we pushed them back, reorganized the parking a little bit, just restriped it. We're putting an enclosure around the dumpster. There's a dumpster area back there now. We're putting an enclosure, just stuff like that. And in the front of the site, we're making it more handicap accessible. As you know, there's some ramps. Those are gonna be removed and redone, so they're all accessible. They meet the code. So curb cuts, sidewalk, handicap parking, accessibility to the front, all stuff that's basically required by code or by zoning is gonna be done. The good thing is that we're proposing to decrease the impervious coverage on the site. And you can see, I mean, this is what we're proposing.
Decrease.
Decrease. You've got a sea of asphalt out there now. Basically, the whole building's surrounded with pavement. And by redoing the curb cuts, putting the walk in, reorganizing that, we're creating some green space. As you can see, some here, some back, we've got some islands in the back now, so. When we've analyzed it for all the storms, there's a decrease in both the rate of runoff and the volume for all the storms. And the net decrease in the impervious coverage is about 914 square feet.
Were you building this addition right in the parking lot?
Yeah, basically right on top of the blacktop. It's right here. If you're familiar with, you know, that room that looks out onto the falls.
Yeah.
Well, it's tucked right in the corner behind that, so it's kind of shielded. It's within that southern parking lot. But this is the corner of the building. We'll put the addition right in the corner. There is a floodplain and floodway associated with Peyton Air Brook here, but we're way above it. It doesn't affect it. And we've shown a little piece of the floodplain right here that impacts the site. It's about 725 square feet. But I actually think the map is probably a little bit inaccurate in that sense, because I believe there's a restriction here with the parking lot that crosses there's a parking deck and parking lot there. I think the restriction is probably on this side, or this line should probably be here. But anyway, it's a minor impact. We're not really doing anything there. We're actually taking some blacktop out there and landscaping it. That's it, it's pretty simple. But the interior, of course, and the exterior will be renovated.
Mr. Lees?
I'm a big proponent of when you start doing these parking lots, and sometimes the applicant even starts short of going into the areas that are regulated for improvements, and I'm just saying for long term. I mean, you're already in there, you're filing an application. I mean, is there any improvements you're doing to any runoff that's going in there, or, you know, where you have to work on the wall? I mean, what's the condition of the wall? What's the condition of the waterfalls? I mean, are these the times that you would wanna?
Well, that's a good question. The waterfalls in the brook in that area, they're solid. They're really cut down on ledge rock there. Really no erosion going on in that area. There are retaining walls on the site, as you mentioned. In particular, there's a couple of them. This one's kind of a short wall. It's in good shape. It really channels the brook. There's some green space behind it. We're proposing a little bit of green space in front of it as well. That'll help the runoff. Right now, there's no storm sewers. There's no way to treat it. It just kind of sheet flows off in this area. And in this parking lot, in the southern parking lot, there's two areas where the water runs off. There's two leak-offs that actually go off the parking lot towards the brook in this area, this wall. Now, the wall, we still have to have a structural engineer look at it. There's a couple of walls. There's one by the brook, and then there's one next to it. It looks like it was done maybe in the 80s. It's a large concrete block wall. They don't seem to be in failure or anything, but still they have to be looked at. It may be a possibility, and that's why I'm glad you brought it up. It might have to be fixed or whatever. I don't think so, but if need be, we're just gonna say that, we're gonna put it out here.
Well, that's what I'm saying, I'm just trying to bring the point out, is now the time is
Yep.
to look at it and get it all done in one shot, not having to come back in 6 months and say a phase 2 part of it. Thirdly, is there any storm drains or anything that do directly run into it? I'm just talking mostly about signage, you know, I'm big on the signage.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do here. Well, the only thing I could say is that, you know how Elmer keeps his site, it's
Right.
really immaculate.
Okay.
I'm sure he's gonna do the same here.
You're saying it's just basically all sheet flow off the
All
parking
sheet
lot directly into?
Yeah. Yep, a couple of paved leaf-offs here, and basically there's two spots where it leaves the pavement, one down in here and one over in here.
And just one more final thing, more directed to staff. Again, anytime we redo these parking lots or any building where we get a chance to do some improvements, I would hopefully that staff would work with them to see if there's any improvements that we could do to the situation, you know. That's what I'd be looking for, so, you know, like I say, the wall structure now, fix it
Right.
now, however it's sheet flowing into it.
Well, we are proposing, well, let's just say this, we are taking the opportunity to put some stone cover on one of those.
Okay,
It's, yeah, I looked at it, it needs a little bit of work, so we'll fix it up.
okay.
Some cover on it.
Through the chair, to add to that, is there any way to treat any of that sheet flow as far as for any of the products? You know,
Not
oil,
easily, not without really putting a whole collection system in there. We did kind of take the opportunity here to put some green space, and anytime you have some green space to renovate it, it'll certainly work.
There's no way to channel that back to anything else, that area that's.
This portion, the northern
that-
portion?
That corner that you say is just kind of in
South.
Oh, the south, over here.
That little outlet there, yeah.
It actually runs on top of the wall, and believe it or not, I looked at that, and that's, it's pretty stable, it really is, there's no really active erosion there, oddly enough. This one did need a little bit of help. Because it's basically falling on concrete and stone below it. And we'd be glad to work with staff on anything, you know, even when we're out there working, if we come across something, we'd be happy to work with the signage wise or whatever.
Through the chair,
Yes.
we can meet with the engineer and go over possibilities, maybe treating the leak-offs or some filtration can be gained there.
I will leave that with it, we'll just table it for now. Need a motion to table.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to table regular activity number 190R to the next regulated, next scheduled meeting on April 10th, 2013.
Second.
Motion made and seconded
Is that Mike?
Yes.
to table regulated activity 190R till our next regular meeting on 4/10/2013. All those in favor, vote your usual way.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
In front of you, you see the administrative staff actions. I don't know if there's any questions or not. Now, we'll move along. Someone is saying the violations down here at Beaverbrook Road, the guy is still in Brazil. I don't know how true that is. I think we have to go down and take a look.
I volunteer,
Okay.
What are you volunteering for?
as long as the city pays for it,
What are you volunteering?
to go to Brazil,
Okay.
hunt down.
I need a motion to accept the meetings from 2/27/13.
Mr. Chairman, we make a motion to accept the minutes from 2/27/13 as complete. Incomplete. It's saying incomplete. Why is it saying
You
incomplete?
can't accept them, they're not done yet.
Oh,
So don't, so move
Actions
along.
taken is what we.
oh, I thought it was action taken. What actions did we take?
To the,
Do
to
we have
the
to vote
minutes.
on it?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mills.
Staff class actions. The question I have, since some of us, Bill too, I think, went, how'd you make out with that premium, what is it, Premium Point Lane? They were supposed to meet with First Light to, I guess, the following day. Are you privy to what actually happened, or?
Yeah, through the chair, they submitted a letter of signing permission from First Light, an attached plan. And basically what they came up with is that First Light would let them point up the wall and do a little work on that sidewalk that came up from their dock.
Right.
That's it.
No beach.
No beaches,
Okay.
nothing else, no more docks or anything.
Okay.
Just the pointing up the wall and a little bit of stonework on the upland portion of their sidewalk.
Pointing up the wall and what else?
Work on the sidewalk.
You wanna put some stones down to it, yeah. Get down.
Anything else?
Well, I'm just curious, the Danbury Yacht Club seawall, did they have to, seawall repair, where did they have to go to get permission for that, to work on a seawall?
Well, that was the same thing, they got permission from the power company to work down there, and it was to point up the wall only before the lake.
Before the lake went up? Okay, that's all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Lees?
I will make a corrected motion, and my apologies. I would like to make a motion to accept actions taken from 2/27/13, yet the minutes are still incomplete.
Second.
Okay. Motion made and seconded to approve the actions taken at the meeting at 2/27/13 in lieu of the minutes, as they are not complete. All those in favor, vote your usual way.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Everybody has correspondence? Next item is adjournment.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, we adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Oh, thank
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is zoning board of appeals. The advertisement in Danbury News Time. The regular meeting of the zoning board of appeals will be held on March 14th in the conference room 3C at 7 p.m. at the City Hall in Danbury, Connecticut, in order to hear the following petitions. May I have a motion from a board member to hear the petitions that are before us?
I make a motion to hear continuation of 1308, new business, 1311 and 1312.
A second on that motion?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so approved. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I do have to make that official announcement. We have a four-man board. If anyone wishes to withdraw, or wait till the end to see if we have a five, you're welcome to do that. Or we'll just hear it with a four-man board, and hopefully you'll have the right stuff. If you don't, then you don't have anybody else to go around.
You need 4 positive votes in order for a petition to carry.
There
Yeah,
it is.
you got
That's what I said.
5.
Here he is.
You got a full board.
The wall that talk make it.
Well, I told you it would work. Hello. It's the late Johanna.
The late one time you showed me so much.
One time.
Wait for me, wait for me.
You don't want to bet on the one
No, but
time.
you don't. You won't say too much when the meeting starts, but when you get out, just like keep going.
Well, the clock so you can get by at first.
Okay, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna call up new business 3-11, Brian Eminowati. What do you want, what am I doing?
Continuation.
Continuation.
Oh, this public hearing, okay. Oh, you approved it, all right. We have well, that's the public hearing, we're gonna continue that. That comes at the end anyway, but I'll say it now. Continue the public hearing of Alarm Enterprise LLC, 2-4 Germantown Road, to allow the excavation and a filling within 5 feet of the property line for construction of a retaining wall and the site grading to reduce the minimum two-way driveway within 24 feet to 14 feet of an existing driveway. It's a CZ20 zone. We're gonna hear that this evening if you're here. Well, you know, it's here, we'll hear it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, you're here.
Good evening, Mark
Sign in,
Woodhouse.
sign in. You know the routine.
I do.
Need 2 or 1?
2.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, I'll share.
You can do that.
I looked at the whole board.
Okay, look, I'd like to, read into the minutes that, we went to Sean Hannity, and, after a further review of the survey plan of this property, the fire department will not commit an engine to the back of the property due to a lack of maneuverability. Therefore, I see no problem with the parking expansion proposal. because there's no problem with the fire engine, they wouldn't go back there anyway. So, with that, and that came from Sean Hannity, our,
Would you like to take this one piece at a time?
Sure, would you?
Well, I don't know, you've got 2 or 3 things you're going for. so-
Okay, yep, well, let's talk about the grading first. We're asking for the variance because we do have retaining walls. We're gonna grade on the north end of the property in an effort to reduce the height of the retaining walls, and that's why we're asking for that. And also on this side as well. So it's strictly just to lessen the height of the retaining walls.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, you know, if we need to do something else, at least we're covered out there, we can grade. The other issue, of course, is the driveway width, which we discussed at the last meeting. We've got an existing driveway that's between 2 buildings, it's 14.8 feet in width. The minimum driveway width currently zoning regulations is 24. Owner wants to expand the parking, he's got apartment buildings there, it's a mixed use, as we brought up.
How many apartments?
There's actually 5 apartments there.
Okay.
And he wants it, the parking in the back is for his tenants and the employees, so they can free up the parking in the front for the patrons of the business.
Let me tell you the difficulty. I went out there and I should have brought pictures, but I should have taken pictures and brought them in. You only have about 10 feet here of clear space. And the reason why you only have about 10 feet of clear space is you have air conditioners sticking out of buildings. You have an exhaust fan from the restaurant sticking out of the building into the driveway, I believe. Someone's exhaust fan is there, I don't know whose.
Okay.
And it limits an already non-conforming driveway to even less space for anything that's, you know, for any truck or delivery van or anything like that.
Okay.
And to have this as an, in my opinion, and this is only my opinion, because that's all I can voice, to have this as an active driveway is I find disturbing, and I'm not comfortable with that, given the layout of the property.
Okay, well, let's talk about the delivery vehicles. They're not gonna put delivery vehicles back there for the same reason they wouldn't take the fire truck. There's not maneuverability back there. There is enough area in the front of the property, and I'm talking about in here, to actually pull a vehicle in there and get it out, no problem. And that's-
Yeah, I understand all of, well, I understand all of that. It still doesn't, my problem is I see that as a prospective active driveway. And once we approve it, it's gonna be impossible for this city to police that for only tenants and employees. I mean, that's just not gonna happen. And if, you know, if you put a restaurant, you've got a large space in there that has active traffic going in it, you know goddamn well they're gonna be parking in the back. And that's problematic.
how many parking places are you gonna get out of the back?
Well, he's got them here, you got about 19.
Okay, well, I didn't, you have the map, okay, yes, I didn't look at it. Okay, there's 19 parking places, which right now there's none.
Well, there's
No,
some.
No,
Well, I
there's
know
an
there's
active
a few
parking
back
lot right now.
there.
They have some there, it's just it's not paved, it's just earth.
And as we discussed the last time, there's no way to have an ingress and egress on this side of the building.
No.
You could?
Well, he probably
You can't
can make
integrate.
egress if you want, but he doesn't want, because this existing, what is parking here?
Is this part of your parcel?
Yes.
Why couldn't they put a driveway there? It would have grade, but you could get a driveway in there,
Well, from.
23.7 feet here.
Yeah.
coming
it's
off Hospital Avenue.
About 20 some odd feet from here to here.
Yeah, from where? From the center of the driveway?
From here to the edge of the road up into the side there is about, it's 20 feet of grade change.
Even after you grade?
No, that's the difference we'd have to make up with the driveway. So if you look at.
20 feet?
20 feet and
20 feet over how many feet?
Well, it would take you at 12%. It's not including any 3%, and then you have to go with 8% for 30 feet into the property. You would need another 166, almost 170 feet to bring it back down to grade. We just don't have to go
But what you have over here, it says parking.
Yes, there's some existing parking right now on the side here. These are spaces right here.
Right, and that's what we're talking about.
Why can't you come out this way? This
If
is
you
what
have a
I'm-
parking here,
Well, you got a maximum that you can go on the driveway, a 60-degree angle.
Have you
Head
done
around
any,
the
have you done any work to see what that would look like?
I tried sketching out a center line, and I just couldn't get it to come back to grade. And I couldn't get the angles to work.
Do you have that work so we can look
No,
at?
I
This
don't.
comes,
why you have a.
We're
parking-
supposed to give you the minimum, the most
We
minimum
have a parking.
variance possible
We're talking grade.
for a property. I just am uncomfortable knowing that this could, and I've seen it so many times, we grant the variance for one reason that people come here for, and inevitably it gets turned around and used another way, and once it's there, we can't do anything about it. And it's disturbing to have one way in and one way out when you're talking you're less than 15 and a half feet.
You can make the driveway.
Right,
For a
it meets
driveway.
It meets a one-way driveway, that's correct.
It meets a one-way driveway, it doesn't need a two-way driveway.
The only thing good is it's a very short distance. We have some sites there to see.
Now, let me ask you one more question.
Sure.
This is parking here, right?
Yes, it is.
How many feet from here?
He owns all
to
of
here?
this
How they
too,
can
Joe.
park?
This
Let
is
me
all-
ask the
Go
question,
ahead.
all right? How much space, how many feet you have from here to over there?
Okay, this space is 18 feet, so you've got about 20 feet there.
And how he park the car this way if it's only 18 feet? You still need a driveway, no?
Well, what they're doing is they're actually backing out into the road.
To the road?
Oh, so you're telling me you can get road here? Then why wouldn't you come across this way and go out?
Because there's an elevation difference there of about 12.
In the
15
back,
feet.
you mean?
Yes.
And, well, that's what you
Yeah.
have to explain, because this is very confusing plan here, it's not,
That's why there's a wall, there's an existing retaining wall that separates
yeah,
the
but you don't
CAO.
show them that nothing.
I was there too, and I looked at this, and I just eyeballed it, and, I couldn't guesstimate grades, but it would have to be behind this retaining wall if you were to come down. and
Yeah,
get
you
off.
have to come over here and then.
And what
bring
would
it down.
happen if, this is your property line, right? Back here?
Yes. There's
What
some
would happen if
topography.
you came back this way and came around and out? Would give you a big sweep to get to your grade.
You got some pretty
Well,
steep.
you'd have to come off the street this way. That's what you're talking
Because
about.
Hospital
Yeah.
Avenue go up, Hospital Avenue start by Germantown, start to go up sharp.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
So the further out.
I don't
it
care,
is,
I don't,
the
he
over-
doesn't have to go all the way up that way. He could come back toward this way. He could come out here, come around and back this way.
But that's illegal parking anyway to back up to the street.
Yes.
Well,
It's
yeah, you gotta
existing
make some
non-conforming.
improvement, if you want other things to,
Well, it's possible the planning department in the review of it could ask them to cease the use of that and use that here. I don't know. It does have to go, which they can approve.
so right now, that's not an approved parking place. So,
that's
if we make
existing.
it,
Right now,
it
yes.
exists, so it's not really legal. So if we make this map legal, then that becomes legal, we can't even do that, because we're backing out into the street. If we make this
No,
map-
no, no, no,
It's
no.
existing now.
Huh?
Oh,
That
this is
exists
exist.
Yeah, it's existing now.
Pre-existing
We're backing out into the
non-
street.
It's pre-existing non-conforming, so we're not, that's not part of the application.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question, Sean. When they change something on a property, don't they have to bring everything into conformity? No, okay. What I'm suggesting is you have enough room out here to do a run where you should be able to suck up the grade to get out over here somewhere and get to 12%. 12% is pretty steep.
Yes, it is. And there's a lot of ground, and a lot of grade change to make up, as somebody mentioned, when you come up, you climb it higher and
Well,
higher. and
you know,
back down.
well, don't point back there because you're not coming out back there. Come back over here somewhere.
Well, we can come up to near the intersection, or we wouldn't want anybody coming out in that
He's coming out of the intersection, he's backing out in there now.
75.
Is the lower part, you backs out in the lower part.
Yeah.
Sean, you don't want someone coming out of where? Say it.
Into the intersection, the new intersection that the hospital finished constructing for us on Hospital Avenue. Coming from Germantown up to Hospital Avenue.
And that's an awkward angle to try to get that. We'd probably end up losing this part by trying to get the driveway in.
10 feet, I guess what the board's got to consider, 10 feet is a very narrow to get in and out of the place. You know, if you get something in there that's a small panel truck or something with a couple things hanging off the side, you're gonna knock the wall, and you're gonna hit the wall.
Where you wanna go curb, there's about a 14-foot grade change just between here and here.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a challenge.
It's a challenge, but I'd like to see him try the challenge.
Okay.
I mean, this is just too goddamn narrow for two-way traffic.
Well, you're never gonna get two-way traffic, not with 10 feet.
But that's, the eventuality here is you could have two-way traffic.
Yes, no, there's no question about that. And that's when,
All right, look,
was our concern.
I expressed my opinion. I mean, I'm done. Next.
Well, no, there's no question about it, what Herb has brought up.
Is that a common concern?
There's 20 cars going into a place that only one can get out at a time, and if that one happens to hit the side of the building, nobody gets out. So, you know, you can't go around them, so you've got a couple of things that could happen here that could cause a big problem. I mean, without question.
But I think if you claiming that the grade is hard to do, at least you should show on the plan where's your hardship, why you can
You want
make
me to
good
demonstrate that it can't work, okay?
And you got an intersection there too, like Sean
I'm
was saying.
sensing if I go
Let's put it this way.
End well, so-
Let's see if you can exhaust all possibilities.
Okay.
Let's say it that way.
All right.
And what about taking out a piece of the building? Take out a store.
I would have a hard time convincing my clients to do
Maybe,
what I think.
you know, I don't know what to tell you. I would personally be happy to meet out there to look, to see what options are there if you want to. But
I'll tell you what, I'm sensing that there's a problem here. Let me take.
No, you're an engineer. I
what
don't
was,
think
what
we
was
need
your
on
first
this.
clue?
You're an engineer, you know what you're doing, we're gonna give you opinions, but again, you gotta know what's feasible and all that, so that's all I'm saying. I mean, I'll tell you, put some sky hooks there, but that ain't gonna work, right? What I'm just saying is this,
All right.
so I think you ought to come back, I think what the board will probably do is make a motion to table it, and have you come
Well, I
back.
don't know if we, well, depends how fast he gets back.
What do you
If he comes in with a different plan, it's beyond tabling. We have to.
Well, if I come back with a different plan as a driveway that I can get, then I have one way in and one way out. I don't need the variance.
Then you have no problem.
You want to do that?
I suggest somehow using all of this property, if you can, in here to do something. And if you have to build a ramp from over here to get to there.
You're talking only 19 parking places, you're not gonna.
No, listen.
To get out.
You got all of this here.
Oh,
He
don't
could
get me
start
wrong.
here with it and go up.
I know, but all I'm telling you is that
Well,
he's
if-
gotta come in with the cost factor on that thing too.
That's not my problem.
Oh, I don't disagree with you.
Okay.
but the-
Cost is not my problem.
Can we continue? Is there time to do that?
We're not meeting till April now,
Oh,
Easter, Passover.
okay. Yeah, well, I'll just come back with something. If we can't.
All right, so it's withdrawn.
Thank you for your time. Okay, then, first application is 1113 Brian and Minowati O'Donnell, 9 Bolt Hill, increase maximum allowed building height for a detached accessory building from 15 feet to 15.85 inches.
15 feet.
8.85 inches, will you hold on for a second?
15.85 feet.
Yeah, it's 15.85 feet. So whatever 85 feet, it's less than a foot. So anyway, we have someone here,
Mr. O'Donnell. Yes, sir.
tell us what you'd like to do, please.
I have some pictures. What happened is when I built the garage, I didn't know about that you had to measure all 4 corners. I screwed up. I measured the front of the building, and the property, my grade of my property is extremely steep, so the back of the building screwed me up.
You mean it's too high?
Yeah, but my grade of my property, it drops, I live on, it says,
So all
Bullet Hill.
you have to do is raise it 0.85 feet.
According to my surveyor, he said I actually have to raise the grade of the property 2 feet to make, because you're measuring 4 corners.
Oh. What's your problem? Either that or take a saw and cut that part of the roof off. You're lucky
Okay.
you're not a builder coming here.
No.
Okay, I think that obviously what happens, the grade has caused you some hardship there.
Right.
It doesn't have a detrimental, I mean, we'll go into it, but it doesn't affect anybody to the extent, based on the picture.
Right.
So, okay, you know, okay, I think, you know, kind of need more to put into it. Any more questions from the board? Thank you very much.
How long ago did you build a garage?
It's still under construction right now, it's only the outside skin that's done.
Nice, okay.
What's gonna be inside there?
I'm gonna be restoring a car in there.
Oh, okay. And what's up top?
The attic to, when I take the car apart, to throw all the parts up there, so it's not cluttered downstairs.
And I assume you let them do all of this?
Let, who?
Your better half lets you do?
That's not
Oh,
me.
yes.
That's not me.
Oh, okay. The way you walked in, I thought you were together. Okay.
Not me.
So you get someone to allow you to do all
Well,
that?
her answer to that was, she always knows where I am then.
That's a good answer.
Makes sense. I have
Thank you,
no-
thank you very
I
much.
have-
What kind of car are you restoring?
Right now, a '79 Z28 Camaro.
You know this product.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone here in favor of this application? Is there anyone in opposition to the application? Board?
You know, we require you sign 10% of the title over to us. And then we get this-
Are you gonna pay 10% of the bill?
You know you're on camera and also on voice here. so-
I don't care. Hey, what they pay me, Dickie, this is gonna make a difference.
Well, I understand that. It's not again.
They could retire me tomorrow, it won't make a difference.
Either that or you're trying out for some kind of play or something. or a
No,
project.
I got a friend in the FBI who wants to visit me, I'm trying to give him a reason.
The next application is 1312 Family and Children's Aid at 87-89 West Street. Increase allowable ground floor area from 50% to 92% for a principal building on a lot. 4, to decrease allowed distance from the bottom edge of excavation from 5 feet to 0 feet to a property line for a detached accessory building. So you're doubling the floor area in
This is not what we're on.
50% to roughly 100. Thank you. Okay.
How far from the back line is the detached building gonna be? You said you're 0 now.
I get the same one,
That's the wrong one. You have a paper back. I guess.
Oh, it's the wrong one.
Yeah.
It's deja vu all over again. My friend Yogi Berra taught me that one.
This
I'm
is-
Mark
this
Corey,
is
I'm
him.
on the board of directors of Family and Children's Aid. This is Kevin McNellis, he's the director of operations.
Do they pay you more than they pay me?
About
Kevin,
the
your
same.
last name is?
McNellis,
Zero.
M-C-N-E-L-L-I-S.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is worded wrong, guys, and it's okay, we can amend it because you're asking actually for less of the variance than was advertised.
Which part are you talking about?
A building 0 feet from the lot line,
Well, it's excavation,
excavation 0 feet.
no, excavation within 5 feet.
Within 5 feet of the property.
Yeah.
They're gonna go to 0 feet.
They're gonna be excavated
Oh,
within
it's
5
just
feet.
the excavation.
Just the excavation, to remove the foundation, existing
Got it.
foundation.
You was here,
The
Got
new
it.
building is gonna be within the setback requirements.
everything.
We simply wanna
Oh,
take
okay.
down the
Yeah, I
two,
got it, I got it.
we simply wanna take down the 2 garages and build 1.
I understand.
And the coverage, although it says going from 50% to,
Okay, thank
that's,
you.
you're only increasing the square footage by 120 square feet to what's already there. If you consider the fact that there's a void between the 2 buildings, the void is greater than 120 feet.
The hardship that they have is there was another building here And if that other building was still standing, they would have less than 50% coverage with the back building.
The 89 West Street used to be right here. This is West Street right here. And when we acquired it back in July, it was just, it was falling down. It was close to being condemned because of all the mold issues. And the whole structure, the roof structure had fallen in on it.
You would be under the 50% if this building was still in place.
Yes.
So you're
I
gonna
rest
preserve
my
the,
case.
you're gonna preserve the artwork on the garages?
Oh, they prettied it up.
It's kinda nice.
Want to be able to store the equipment properly in there and
You guys do a heck of a job with this, you know, what the street is and is, so this was something of the best.
Quite an organization.
Any other questions from the board in reference to what we got here?
Don't be so tough on them, guys.
Okay.
I already
no
know how I'm
question.
voting. I told them when I walked in and voting no.
Thank you.
We're on camera.
I don't care, Dick.
No, I do, as a chairman, I can't allow you to say I'm gonna vote for them before they walk in. So I'm gonna,
I said I was gonna vote it down before they walked.
well, you shouldn't tell them that either.
That's my question, that's my only question.
I wanna get the suspense cooking.
Because, no, because I'm next door.
You gonna hit me?
No, I just
Oh,
wanna know if it was
okay.
wood or metal, that's all. Okay.
What's the matter?
I was just wondering if it was wood or metal. I'm next door. I'm at DYS. I'm at 91 West Street.
You are?
Yeah.
Jen, we ask her, anybody has any questions, you're allowed to come up and.
Okay, I will sign it. That's, I'm not trying to cause, I just wanna know if it's wood or metal, that's all.
It's gonna be wood and metal.
That's, I know, but I wanna know which one it is. It's simple.
Okay, Mr., could you answer that question? Not that it's gonna make that much difference, because we have to know, but
And
the
your
building,
name? Diane Doling.
It's gonna fit in with the characteristics of the property.
That's my
It's
question.
gonna fit with the characteristics of the property.
Right,
I
because
don't think they actually.
you don't know yet,
finished
because
designing it yet.
that's,
Yeah.
we're all Victorian on that side of the building, on that side of the street, and I'm like, we don't want big ugly metal.
Tremendously better
It
than.
might have metal work,
But
it
it's
might have metal
pretty
trusses
now.
and so forth inside.
That artwork was really nicely done for the.
Yeah.
for the image, yeah. But I haven't seen you guys build anything that's not gonna be in characteristics. Even when you did the Harmony Street construction, it all fits in with the neighborhood. So that's pretty much what we're saying, we're gonna stay with the characteristics.
Okay, that was my only question.
They're gonna put pillars there and everything, so it looks like it's fits
Gothic?
right in. Georgian.
Georgia.
All right, what we
First of all,
didn't do, we
first of all,
never
you got,
closed them.
you're talking so much that we forgot to
To
close
close
the
them.
meeting of the first one. So if you just lay back a little bit, could I have a, let's go back to the first petition 1311.
Make a motion
May I
to
make a
close
motion to
13
close that
1308.
hearing?
You're actually further from our property.
All right, that was withdrawn.
It's actually, it's gonna be,
Make
yeah,
a
now it's
motion
only.
to close
it's only
1311.
What are we gonna do now?
Wait a minute, wait a minute,
You
wait
did.
for me.
I second it.
Okay.
Everybody talking at once.
Motion made and seconded.
We're at 9.
All in favor of closing this meeting?
1311, right?
Yeah, this is 13-11.
I make a motion to close 13-12.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to close 13-12. All in favor of the motion? Aye. That's so close. That ends the meeting for tonight as far as the petitions are concerned. We also want to run into the record that the mayor has approved a new member for the board in reference. I hereby submit for your confirmation the appointment of the following individual as an alternate member of the zoning board of appeal to expire November 1st, 2016, to replace Jack Valdez, whose term expired November the 1st, 2012. Mr. Ribeiro is a lifelong Danbury resident, has had vast experience in the major construction projects, that's good, residential and commercial and property management, and a clear understanding of the zoning rules and regulations. Thank you for the consideration of this appointment. I think it's proper at this time that we make a motion to accept this gentleman, unless somebody has anything against him, and we vote on it.
Anthony Ribeiro.
Anthony Ribeiro, that's
I make a motion to approve Anthony Ribeiro as an alternate member of the zoning board of appeals. Second.
Motion made in second, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye, so approved. Mr. Rivera is now a new member of the board. Now, we go back into our voting of the evening. Mr. O'Donnell of 9 Bullet Hill, allow the building to be increased the height from 15 to 15.85. Discussion and or a motion.
Any discussion, guys? Mike,
What?
you good? With O'Donnell? I make a motion to approve 1311, Brian and Minna Waddy O'Donnell, 9 Bullet Hill Road, increase maximum allowed building height for a detached accessory building from 15 feet to 15.85 feet. This occurred because of the extreme fall off in one corner of the grading, and the finished grade didn't quite make it. It's in keeping with the neighborhood, and it does not affect the health, safety, and welfare.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor of this motion?
Aye.
Aye, so approved. Next application, Family and Children Aid, to go from 50% to 92% of a principal building on the lot, to decrease the allowed distance from the bottom edge of the excavation from 5 to 0 feet to the property line for a detached accessory use. As explained, the increase is really only 100 feet or so, and also if the previous building that was there, they would not have to go with it. Variance, so I'm open for a discussion, vote.
Anyone? I make a motion to approve 1312, Children of Family Aid, 87 to 89 West Street, to increase ground area coverage from 50% of a principal building to 92% of the principal building. This occurred because there was a building there in disrepair that was removed, and they are really not increasing the ground coverage than previously existed. And to decrease the allowed distance from the bottom edge of an excavation from 5 feet to 0 feet to the property line for a detached accessory building. That's where I have my problem. It's not clear. Per map submitted, it is in keeping with the neighborhood, and it does not affect the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye, so approved. That is the end of the meeting tonight. We're gonna go into voting on the minutes of 12:13. We do have a quorum, we have Hannah, Mr. Civic, Moore, and myself. Mr. Herb Crate was absent, but doesn't make any difference. I have a four-man, do I have motions to accept the minutes?
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes of December 13th, 2012.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All right, the second one we have to, is 110. Here was myself, Herb, Mr. Hannah, absent, we don't have a quorum. Was Rod and Mr. Siddle.
Who the hell was that?
I was here, you,
Rick was here. Rick was the fourth.
right,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
and Johanna.
All right, so we can't approve that. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
So approved.